Hello, I'm so happy I got a hold of you. This week we're doing something a little different. We are taking a look at a preview of a new tactical turn-based XCOM-like called Homicidal All-Stars. Now, to give a little exposition, when I was growing up, Arnold Schwarzenegger was a huge movie star, and I loved his movies. And this was a time before the internet was around, and you really didn't know the full filmography of certain actors. So every once in a while, you would see a movie, or you would rent one, you would see it on TV, and then 3, 4, 5 years would go down the line, and you'd be like, did that movie exist? What was the name of that movie? Like Terminator and True Lies, everyone knew about those, Terminator 2, but some of his later 80s outside of Predator as well, one of those was a movie called Running Man. And Running Man was this really cool movie where it was a game show where you would throw these convicts through essentially a maze of killers whose job it was to hunt down the convicts and kill them, and they would have ridiculous outfits, almost looked like video game characters themselves. And of course, it's up to Arnold, unarmed and everything, to get there through the maze with his buddies and escape.
But I hope you leave enough room for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine!
So Running Man was a movie that I loved growing up, but for a while there, it was almost one of those things where I couldn't see it. I couldn't remember the name. I could never find it again. The video rental store never had it. So it's always a theme I enjoy. Then fast forward 20 years, XCOM. XCOM is one of my all-time favorite games, XCOM Enemy Unknown. XCOM 2 was great as well in that style of combat that then was translated into Mario Rabbids Kingdoms Battle. And the more I've researched into it, there's actually a whole litany of games that use this style. So they are making a new game called Homicidal All-Stars, which is basically a Running Man game where you are contestants running through a maze, or running through this kill area, and then you periodically run into these hunters who you then have to take down in XCOM style battles. Now, there was a demo that just came out that ran from October 3rd to October 10th. Today, of course, being the 11th, so it's too late to go download the demo. It really wasn't much to it. It was just a snippet of a battle. So you start off in the midst of the battle. There's you're already mid-turn. There's no setup. It looks like the game has some of the Mario Rabbids Kingdom battles, kind of traversing where you're walking from section to section, and in there you're avoiding pitfalls and death traps. I don't know if there's permanent death with your team. I'm assuming there is, but I could be wrong. And each one seems to have its own niche. You have the heavy gunner person, you have the kind of support person who uses holograms, and then the other one is just your standard run and gun aficionado. You have 2 turn phase, you can move twice, you can use 2 actions, or you can fire to end your turn. The enemy types I ran against, you had just a standard grunt, you had a healer grunt, and then there's a dude who uses a sword, as well as I think there was one other one that I killed too fast to really know what they do. And the big thing of this game is it's extremely hyper-violent, which it definitely is. When you shoot some of the enemies, they explode. Now, forgive my footage. I don't have a very good computer anymore. If you remember from last year, my cat executed my computer, and I'm still... it's amazing I'm able to do as much as I am with the channel right now with the computers I have, because I really have a laptop for work, and then we got a kind of a desktop, and all-in-one for my wife for her work, but it does not... None of them are very good gaming PCs. So still working on that. Maybe one of these days I can get back to the PC master race, but this is why I still enjoy consoles, is because, man, it sucks when you have hardware that won't play the game. It does allow you to get through it, though, and a game like this will allow you to get through it. And more or less, not to say it's just XCOM, but really it is. I mean, even the terminology, the reload, Overwatch, all that. It just doesn't seem to have the same stakes, the same danger. Now, I don't know if that's because they gave you an overpowered party. The enemies it throws at you, they come, randomly. They'll come, like a bunch of them. It gives you time to adjust to it, so that is nice. They don't seem very aggressive. Like, they seem more likely to hold pat and use an Overwatch versus try and force the issue and really take out an enemy. Now, that might be because they're also trying to preserve themselves, which is interesting. And of course, the misses are here, like missing a 75% shot and all that, like all that XCOM goodness. I specifically loved the decoy ability, having that, and also having it regenerate. That was one of the things in XCOM is generally all the fun abilities were one-time uses or one-time onlys and then went away. I have a feeling this one's going to allow some of those to be rechargeables so that you can use that ultimate Gatling weapon. You can use, like, things like grenades will go away, and I'm sure the med kits will go away, but there's also med kits on the field, which is nice because it really brings in that whole Running Man aesthetic, because there is a producer essentially watching the field, similar to how, I want to say, Left 4 Dead had a director that would throw more enemies at you. Now, in the one that I was playing, I played the match twice, and the same exact beats happened both times. So I don't know if the actual game will be that consistent, or if it's just because of the demo, but during the fight, once you had reinforcements show up, the director dropped all these explosive barrels onto the field, which actually helped out me far more than it helped the enemy, because I just immediately targeted them and damaged a bunch of people. You get double kills, triple kills. There seems to be finesse points you get for doing exquisite moves, so that's pretty cool. The enemies level up, or not the enemies, you level up at the end of the mission, and I'm sure there's going to be points to dole out, or reinforcements, or new abilities to unlock, and just... You know, there's no XCOM 3 on the horizon, so I've really wanted to look into some more of these type of XCOM likes, and I think this might be only a PC-only game, so for my console fans out there, I'm sorry. I generally don't try and recommend PC games, but for this style of game, it does translate very well to the PC. I did play through XCOM 2 originally on PC, back when it wasn't being ported to the console, and after playing the PS4 version of XCOM 2, War of the Chosen, there is some benefits to having something that's on PC if you have a computer that can run it. As far as my thoughts on this game, if it continues in this trajectory with the ridiculous violence, maybe tweak up the AI to be a little bit more intelligent. But then again, I'm also very adept at these, and I'm sure for a demo, they're not trying to overwhelm people, but I'm very intrigued to see where this game goes. Let me know if you're interested in more kind of previews of this nature, and that's what you get for this week, guys. It's been so nice getting a hold of you. Take care.
And a surprise makeover for that defender.